Welcome to Mystery Bedtime Stories. Where in the world are you listening from tonight? If you enjoy these mysterious bedtime stories, don't forget to subscribe. It helps more dreamers find their way here. Now get comfortable, close your eyes, and let your thoughts drift away. I hope you enjoy the story. The village of Devon nestled quietly beneath a tapestry of twilight, the last remnants of day fading into the soft embrace of night. Snowflakes began to drift lazily from the heavens, each one a delicate whisper, blanketing the rooftops and cobblestone streets in a silken layer of white. The air, crisp and bitey, carried with it the faintest hint of wood smoke from chimneys, a reminder of warmth within the homes that lined the narrow lanes. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe stood on the porch of the small stone church, his gaze sweeping over the village he had called home for many years. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the world seemed to hold its breath, caught in a moment of stillness, where shadows danced and secrets lingered. He felt a stirring in his heart, a quiet unease that accompanied the falling night, a suggestion that something beyond the ordinary was soon to unfold. "How peaceful it is," he murmured to himself, tucking his hands into the pockets of his heavy coat. The church bells chimed softly, their gentle toll resonating through the village, calling the last few souls indoors. Around him, the warmth of flickering lanterns began to glow, casting a comforting light that twinkled like stars against the encroaching dark. At the far edge of the village, Thomas Fox, a sturdy farmer with a kind heart, paused to bid good night to his flock. Wrapped snugly in a woolen coat, he approached the sheepfold, their soft bleats mingling with the sound of snow crunching beneath his boots. "Good night, my dear flock," he whispered, his voice low and soothing. He felt a connection to his animals, a simple bond of trust and care that anchored him amidst the chill of the evening. Yet, as he turned to head back to his modest home, an unusual silence fell over the land. The world seemed to hush, as if nature itself was waiting for a revelation. Thomas glanced back at the sheep, who stood still, their eyes wide and watchful. A fleeting sensation danced along his spine, but he shook it off, attributing it to the cool night air. In the depths of the village, Reverend Ellicombe's thoughts wandered. What stories might the night reveal? What mysteries might unfold as the moon rose high above? As he stepped back inside the church, the door creaking closed behind him, he could not shake the feeling that tomorrow would awaken a curiosity that would stir the hearts of many. And in the stillness of Devon, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the secrets of the night, as if the world itself was holding its breath, waiting for dawn. As the night draped its silken cloak over Devon, an enchanting stillness settled upon the village. The snow continued to fall, each flake a fleeting whisper that danced through the air and landed softly upon the ground, transforming the world into a serene wonderland. Beyond the church and the cozy cottages, the hills rolled gently, their contours softened by the blanket of white, as if the landscape itself was settling into a peaceful slumber. Under the watchful gaze of the moon, the village lay suspended in time, a canvas unmarred, waiting for the brush of an unseen hand. The trees, their branches heavy with snow, swayed gently in the night breeze, creating a soothing symphony of soft creaks and sighs. The air was crisp and cool, each breath visible in the moonlight, a brief moment of life against the quiet backdrop. In this tranquil hour, the village remained oblivious to the stirrings of the night. Unbeknownst to the residents, the snow began to yield to a subtle disturbance, as if nature itself held a secret. With each passing moment, a faint impression emerged, a set of footprints, delicate and otherworldly, pressing into the fresh snow. They appeared almost ethereal, as if shaped not by feet, but by a presence that glided across the ground, leaving no trace of its origin. As the clock in the church tower chimed softly, marking the passage of time, the footprints continued to form, stretching across the snow-laden fields, winding their way towards the dark woods that bordered the village. The moonlight illuminated these mysterious imprints, casting an eerie glow that seemed to beckon to the curious soul. It was a path not meant for human eyes, and yet it lingered there, shimmering against the night, a promise of stories untold. Meanwhile, a gentle wind swept through the village, rustling the branches and sending a flurry of snowflakes tumbling through the air like tiny stars falling from the sky. The soft, muffled sounds wrapped around the landscape, cocooning it in an embrace of calm and expectation. For the villagers, nestled in their homes, dreams began to weave through their minds, oblivious to the mystery that was quietly unfolding just beyond their windows. As dawn approached, the stars began to dim, and a deep blue hue crept into the sky, hinting at the revelation that awaited them. The world was still, but a sense of anticipation hung in the air, whispering of the wonders that would soon be discovered at daybreak. In the heart of Devon, the footprints lay hidden, waiting for the light to unveil their secret, and with it, the curiosity that would stir the souls of the village. As dawn's gentle light began to spill over the village of Devon, the world awoke beneath a glistening quilt of snow. The soft, rosy glow painted the cottages in warm hues, while the air, still crisp from the night, shimmered with a quiet magic. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe was the first to step outside, drawn by an inexplicable pull toward the serene landscape that awaited him. He paused at the threshold of the church, his breath mingling with the cool air, forming small clouds that floated away like whispered secrets. But it was not the beauty of the morning that caught his attention first. It was the footprints, strange and delicate, stretching across the unbroken expanse of white. They meandered between the stone church and the nearby cottages, their presence both enchanting and unsettling. What on earth could have made these, he mused aloud, his voice barely above a whisper, as if the very question might shatter the tranquility surrounding him. He stepped closer, bending down to examine the curious imprints more closely. They appeared smaller than a human's, almost as if crafted by some otherworldly being. They spiraled and twisted, leading toward the dark woods at the edge of the village. The Reverend's heart quickened, a mixture of awe and concern stirring within him. He turned back toward the village, feeling the weight of the morning's revelation settle on his shoulders. As he made his way down the church steps, the first villagers emerged, drawn by the promise of a new day. They stopped in their tracks, eyes widening at the sight of the footprints, their hushed gasps filling the air. "Did you see these?" whispered Thomas Fox, his voice thick with disbelief as he approached the Reverend. He knelt beside the tracks, brushing his fingers against the snow as though he could decipher their origin through touch alone. The villagers began to gather, their faces painted with expressions of curiosity and wonder. "Could it be a trick of the light?" asked a voice from the crowd, while another pondered, "Perhaps a wild animal?" Yet deep down, they all felt it, a shared sense of mystery that wrapped around them like the morning mist. As the sun climbed higher, illuminating the village in a golden embrace, whispers filled the air, weaving tales of possibilities and secrets yet to be unearthed. The footprints beckoned, a call to adventure that stirred within each heart, igniting imaginations as the villagers stood together, bound by the inexplicable. In that moment, the mundane routines of life faded away, replaced by an awakening curiosity that promised to linger long after the snow melted. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, its golden rays poured over the village of Devon, transforming the snow into a sparkling canvas. Thomas Fox stood at the edge of his sheepfold, the warmth of the morning sun contrasting with the chill that still lingered in the air. He squinted at the curious footprints that meandered through the fields, their delicate shapes glistening against the white backdrop. Each step seemed to whisper secrets, drawing him closer as he crouched down to examine them. "Have you ever seen tracks so unusual?" Richard Owen's voice broke the stillness, his brow furrowed in contemplation as he joined Thomas. The local farmer, known for his sharp intellect and keen observation, knelt beside Thomas, his fingers brushing the snow. "They're not from any animal I know," he remarked, a hint of excitement creeping into his tone. Thomas nodded, his heart racing with curiosity. "They lead toward the woods," he pointed, his voice barely above a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might disturb the mystery. "What do you think could have made them?" Richard tilted his head, considering. "Perhaps a creature from the tales of old, the kind that sneaks through shadows and whispers through the trees." He chuckled softly, but the glint in his eyes revealed he was not entirely jesting. The two men rose, stepping carefully alongside the prince. As they walked, the sunlight danced across the snow, creating a serene atmosphere that belied the intrigue of their discovery. The village was awakening around them, the sounds of morning routines beginning to fill the air. The distant clatter of a cart echoed, mingling with the soft rustle of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. "Let's gather the others," Thomas suggested, a spark of determination igniting in him. "This is something we all should investigate together." Richard agreed, and as they made their way back toward the village center, they felt a collective energy begin to swell among the waking villagers. Passing by the market square, they called out to fellow farmers and shopkeepers, their voices weaving through the morning air. "Come, you need to see these footprints." Curiosity painted the faces around them as more villagers gathered, a mix of skepticism and intrigue brewing in their hearts. Some exchanged speculative whispers, while others frowned in thought, pondering the nature of the prints. Children with wide eyes trailed behind, their imaginations alight with possibilities. As the group moved closer to the edge of the woods, the footprints beckoned, inviting them to follow the trail of mystery. The snow crunched beneath their feet, a soft symphony accompanying their quiet murmurs. In that moment, beneath the vast expanse of a clear blue sky, the villagers of Devon stood united by a singular question. What secrets lay hidden in the woods, waiting for them to unlock? The spirit of inquiry hung in the air, promising adventures that would weave their lives into a tapestry of shared discovery. The cozy inn, a heart of warmth and laughter in the village of Devon, seemed to pulse with life as the evening drew near. Flickering candlelight danced across the wooden beams above, casting playful shadows that mingled with the gentle crackle of the fire. The air was rich with the scent of spiced cider and baked bread, inviting all who entered to linger and share stories. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe settled into a well-worn armchair, a mug cradled between his hands, while the chatter of villagers filled the room like a comforting melody. Richard Owen leaned against the bar, his brow furrowed in thought as he animatedly recounted the peculiar footprints that had captured the village's imagination. "They say they lead straight into the woods," he exclaimed, eyes sparkling with intrigue. "Could it be the devil himself come to dance among us?" Laughter erupted, a warm sound that mingled with the crackling fire, wrapping around the room like a soft blanket. "Or perhaps a fairy, seeking mischief," chimed in Mary, a local herbalist, her voice light with mirth. She leaned forward, her curiosity evident. "You know the tales of creatures that wander these woods at night. They could be drawn here by the warmth of our hearths." The villagers gathered closer, their faces illuminated by the flickering glow, drawn together by the shared thrill of speculation. Each theory sparked another, a delightful web of ideas weaving through the room. "Ha! It could be nothing more than a prank," boomed old Mr. Hargrove, his voice gruff but good-natured. "You youngsters and your fanciful tales. I've seen many a footprint after a night of revelry, and I dare say none were ever more than the work of a tipsy friend." A ripple of laughter broke through the group, but even as they jested, the mystery lingered in the air, thickening with each new suggestion. Reverend Ellicombe listened intently, his heart warmed by the camaraderie that the footprints had ignited. In this moment of shared wonder, he sensed a deeper connection forming among the villagers, a bond stitched together by the threads of curiosity and imagination. As the evening stretched on, the fire crackled softly, and the outside world faded into a gentle hush. With each story shared, the villagers began to weave the footprints into their folklore, transforming the unknown into something beautifully familiar. They spoke not just of what they believed, but of what they hoped. Hopes that perhaps the mysteries of the night would unveil secrets that had long slumbered in the shadows. And in the cozy inn, as the stars blinked awake outside, the villagers of Devon settled into an evening steeped in wonder, their hearts alight with the promise of discovery. The moon hung high in the velvet sky, casting a silver glow over the village of Devon, transforming it into a dreamscape of shimmering white. Thomas Fox ventured into the night, a lantern flickering in his hand, its warm light dancing against the cold darkness that enveloped the fields. Beside him walked John Snow, his breath visible in the chill air, creating soft clouds that mingled with the whispers of the evening breeze. "These tracks are most peculiar by moonlight," Thomas remarked, his voice barely more than a murmur. He pointed toward the delicate footprints that wove through the unblemished snow, their ethereal shape glistening softly, almost inviting in their mystery. They twisted and turned, leading away from the village and deeper into the open fields where shadows stretched long and thin. John nodded thoughtfully, his brow furrowed as he studied the path ahead. "It's as if they were made by something otherworldly," he replied, his tone laced with both intrigue and a hint of apprehension. The night wrapped around them, a soothing blanket that felt both familiar and strange, suggesting secrets hidden just beyond their grasp. As they walked, the soft crunch of their boots punctuated the quiet, a gentle rhythm that echoed the heartbeat of the night. The lantern's glow illuminated their faces, casting flickering shadows that danced upon the snow, creating a fleeting sense of joy amidst their quest for answers. Each step took them further from the warmth of their homes and deeper into the embrace of the unknown. "Do you think anyone else will come?" Thomas asked, glancing back toward the village, its lights twinkling like stars against the blackness. The allure of the footprints seemed to whisper to the curious hearts of the villagers, yet for the moment, it was just the two of them, bound by a shared determination. "Perhaps," John replied, his eyes sparkling with a mixture of excitement and caution. "But I feel it's important we see where they lead. There's something enchanting about this night, something that pulls us forward." The air was filled with a crisp, clean scent, the world around them bathed in silver light, and for a moment, the worries of the day melted away. They moved closer to the edge of the woods, where the trees loomed like silent sentinels, their branches heavy with snow. The footprints continued into the darkness beyond, a tantalizing invitation to explore further. As they paused, John raised the lantern higher, its light flickering against the silhouettes of the trees. "What if it's nothing more than a trick of the moonlight?" he mused, glancing at Thomas with a playful smirk. "Or perhaps just the wandering steps of a lost traveler?" Thomas chuckled softly, but the thrill of the unknown sent a shiver down his spine. "Yet it feels significant, doesn't it? Like a story waiting to be told." The moonlight cast a serene hush over the landscape, wrapping them in a sense of calm, yet stirring a deep curiosity. With hearts racing in quiet excitement, they stepped forward, eager to chase the mystery that awaited them beneath the watchful eyes of the stars. In the soft glow of the lantern, the footprints beckoned them onward, promising revelations hidden within the shadows of the night. The soft light of Sunday morning filtered through the stained glass windows of the parish church, casting vibrant hues upon the polished wooden pews. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe stood at the front, his heart swelling with gratitude for the gathering of familiar faces before him. The congregation, nestled in their places, seemed to absorb the calmness of the early light, their expressions a blend of curiosity and contemplation, a fitting reflection of the mystery that had recently woven itself into the fabric of their lives. As he adjusted his glasses, Reverend Ellicombe took a moment to appreciate the stillness that enveloped the church. The air was filled with the faint scent of beeswax and pine, remnants of the candles that flickered softly in prayerful corners. It was a space of solace, where worries softened against the warm embrace of faith. "Dear friends," he began, his voice steady yet gentle, resonating like the distant toll of the church bell. "Today we gather not just in worship, but in reflection. For the footprints that have appeared in our village are not mere marks upon the snow. They are a reminder of the mysteries that life often presents to us." A hushed murmur rippled through the congregation, eyes wide with intrigue. Reverend Ellicombe continued, "At times, so our paths may seem unclear, shrouded in the fog of uncertainty. Just as the footprints lead us into the unknown, so too does our journey of faith guide us through life's mysteries." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle in the hearts of those present. Richard Owen, seated near the front, leaned forward, his brow furrowed in thought. He had always approached life with a logical perspective, and the juxtaposition of faith and reason stirred a fervor within him. After the service, he couldn't resist the urge to engage. "Reverend," he spoke, his voice a blend of respect and curiosity. "While I appreciate your insights, might we also consider the footprints through a scientific lens? Nature often holds the answers we seek." The Reverend smiled knowingly, recognizing the harmony that could exist between their differing viewpoints. "Indeed, Richard, science and faith need not be adversaries. Both seek truth, albeit through different paths." As the congregation began to stir, the air buzzed with thoughtful dialogue. Whispers of theories intertwined with shared laughter, creating a tapestry of hope and inquiry. The villagers left the church with the warmth of community surrounding them, their hearts lightened by the promise of exploration. Outside, the sun climbed higher, illuminating the fresh snow and casting the golden glow over the village. As they stepped into the crisp air, the congregation felt a renewed sense of curiosity and connection. Perhaps, in the footprints left behind, they would find not just answers, but a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. In that moment, the boundaries between mystery and faith dissolved, and the villagers of Devon stepped forward into a day filled with wonder, ready to follow the path that lay ahead. The small library in Devon exuded a warm and inviting atmosphere, the afternoon light filtering through tall windows and casting a golden glow that danced across the shelves. Dust motes floated lazily in the air, shimmering in the sunbeams like tiny stars, while the faint scent of aged paper and polished wood wrapped around John Snow like a comforting embrace. He sat at a sturdy oak table, his fingers tracing the spines of old books, each one a portal to the past. With a sense of intellectual curiosity igniting his spirit, John opened a thick volume, its pages yellowed with time. As he read, he uncovered tales of strange happenings in the region, stories of wandering spirits, mysterious lights flickering in the night, and voices echoing through the woods. Each tale seemed to resonate with the whispers of the footprints that had appeared in the snow, intertwining the present mystery with the echoes of Devon's history. "Did you know these lands hold stories older than time itself?" remarked Margaret, the librarian, as she approached with a warm smile. Her presence was a soothing balm, and John looked up, eager to share his findings. "Indeed, I'm discovering that our village is a tapestry of legends, each thread woven with intrigue," he replied, his voice low and contemplative. "It's almost as if the past is trying to speak to us, urging us to pay heed." Margaret nodded, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Many have come here seeking answers, but I wonder if they truly listened. The stories of this place are rich, filled with lessons that often go unheeded." She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "There's a legend of a creature known to wander the woods at night, leaving behind prints that shimmer under the moonlight. They say it comes when the village is at a crossroads, offering guidance or mischief, depending on the heart of the seeker." John felt a shiver of excitement run through him, as if the chill of the evening air had seeped into the library. Could it be, he pondered aloud, that the footprints are a sign, a call to rekindle the stories of old? Margaret smiled knowingly, her gaze drifting toward the window as if she could see the visions swirling in the air. Perhaps each generation faces its mysteries, and within those mysteries lies the opportunity for connection. Maybe this is our time to explore what has been forgotten. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the floor, John felt an awakening within him, a deepening understanding that the footprints were not merely a fleeting curiosity, but a bridge to something greater. The past and present intertwined like tendrils of smoke, begging him to delve deeper into the stories that surrounded them. With newfound determination, he gathered more books, each one holding the promise of revelation. The library, with its whispers of history and the warmth of the afternoon light, became a sanctuary of possibilities. Together, John and Margaret would uncover the threads that connected their village to the mysteries of the past, illuminating the path ahead as they sought answers to the enigma that lay beneath the snow. The bustling marketplace of Devon was alive with the sounds of laughter and chatter, the air thick with the sweet aroma of fresh bread and the earthy scent of produce. Sunlight filtered through the awnings, casting dappled patterns on the cobblestones as villagers milled about, their voices merging into a harmonious symphony of daily life. Richard Owen stood at a stall, his brow furrowed in thought as he examined a basket of apples, but his mind was not on the fruit. Instead, his thoughts lingered on the strange footprints that had captured the village's imagination. "Have you heard the latest?" called out a familiar voice, drawing Richard's attention. It was Clara, a spirited woman known for her penchant for storytelling. "They say the footprints lead straight to the heart of the woods, where shadows dance and secrets whisper." Richard chuckled softly, shaking his head. "Surely, Clara, every anomaly has a rational explanation. It could be the work of a wayward traveler, or perhaps even a curious animal. We mustn't leap to conclusions based on mere superstition." Around them, a group of villagers gathered, their expressions a mix of skepticism and intrigue. "But what if it's something more?" piped up a young man named Samuel, his eyes wide with excitement. "What if it's a sign from the spirits of the woods?" Richard raised an eyebrow, continuing to examine the apples. Spirits? Or perhaps a clever prank by someone looking to stir the pot? We should seek the truth, rather than indulge in fanciful tales. Clara leaned closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "But isn't it the unknown that makes life so delightful? The thrill of wondering what lies beyond the veil of the ordinary?" As they spoke, the marketplace buzzed with a lively debate. Some villagers nodded in agreement with Richard, while others leaned toward the more fantastical explanations. A soft breeze rustled through the market, carrying the scent of baked goods and the laughter of children playing nearby, weaving a tapestry of warmth and community. "Perhaps it's worth exploring the woods ourselves," suggested a thoughtful woman named Eliza, her brow furrowed in concentration. "To seek out the truth and put these wild theories to rest." Richard paused, considering her words. "A fair idea, Eliza. Discovery often lies at the edge of the familiar, but let us approach it with caution, guided by reason, not fear." As the conversation flowed, the atmosphere remained vibrant yet contemplative, wrapped in a gentle warmth that invited curiosity. The villagers, united in their quest for understanding, began to share their own theories, their voices blending into a soft chorus of ideas. And so, amidst the laughter and the lively discussions, the mystery of the footprints lingered in the air, a thread weaving through the lives of the villagers, inviting them to explore the delicate balance between the known and the unknown, logic and imagination. With each shared thought, they drew closer to the heart of the enigma, eager to uncover the secrets that lay just beyond the edge of their world. The wind whispered across the moorland, a gentle caress that stirred the tall grass and sent ripples through the landscape. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sky transformed into a canvas of soft purples and delicate oranges, the fading light casting long shadows that danced across the earth. Thomas Fox stood amidst a small gathering of villagers, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of lanterns that flickered like stars against the encroaching night. "Out here, it feels as though anything is possible," Thomas said, his voice soft yet resonant, capturing the essence of the moment. The villagers nodded, their eyes reflecting the joy of shared stories and the wonder of the world around them. The towering pines swayed gently, their branches rustling like whispers of ancient secrets longing to be told. As they settled into a circle, a sense of camaraderie enveloped them, each villager bringing forth tales that danced on the edges of mystery. Clara spoke first, her words weaving a tapestry of folklore that spoke of spirits flickering like fireflies in the woods, guiding lost travelers home. The group listened intently, their imaginations ignited by the possibilities that lingered just beyond their sight. Thomas leaned back, allowing the soothing sounds of nature to wash over him. The night air was crisp, filled with the earthy scent of damp soil and distant pine. He could feel the pulse of the land beneath him, a heartbeat that connected them all to the whispers of the past. What if the footprints are a reminder, he mused, that we are all part of something greater, something that lives in the tales we share? Richard Owen, sitting beside him, nodded thoughtfully. Nature has a way of leaving its mark, doesn't it? It echoes our stories, intertwining them with the very fabric of the earth. His voice was contemplative, as if he too felt the weight of the mysteries that lay ahead. As the stories flowed, laughter mingled with the night's symphony of crickets and the soft rustle of leaves. Each tale added another facet to the unfolding mystery, shaping their thoughts and nurturing a sense of belonging. The villagers seemed to breathe in unison, their spirits lifted by the shared experience as the horizon darkened and stars began to twinkle overhead, like scattered diamonds across the velvet sky. In that sacred space, beneath the watchful gaze of the heavens, the villagers of Devon felt the magic of their home. They were bound together not just by the mystery of the footprints, but by the stories that echoed through time, calling them to explore the depths of their own imaginations. As the wind picked up, swirling gently around them, it carried with it the promise of adventures yet to come, whispering of the wonders that awaited just beyond the trees. A soft mist hung over the village of Devon, wrapping the cobblestone streets and quaint cottages in a shroud of quiet mystery. The early morning light filtered through the fog, casting a gentle glow that painted the world in hues of gray and silver. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe stepped outside the church, the familiar creak of the door blending with the muffled sounds of the waking village. He inhaled deeply, the crisp air filling his lungs, and felt a sense of calm wash over him. As he made his way across the snow-dusted ground, he spotted John Snow kneeling beside the remnants of the strange footprints that had stirred so much curiosity over the past few days. The prints appeared delicate yet insistent, their outlines softened by the morning mist. John traced his fingers along the edges, his brow furrowed in contemplation. "It's as if they were left here just for us to ponder," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid to disturb the stillness. Reverend Elicum approached quietly, his gaze moving from the footprints to John's focused expression. "In silence, the stories still tell themselves," he said softly, a smile touching his lips. He knelt beside John, sharing in the wonder of the moment. There was an unspoken bond in their shared curiosity, a reminder that sometimes the most profound truths lay hidden beneath layers of mystery. "Do you think they will lead us to answers?" John asked, his eyes reflecting the early light, glistening with both hope and uncertainty. The Reverend pondered for a moment, feeling the weight of the question. "Perhaps answers are not what we seek. Perhaps it is the journey itself that reveals the essence of our existence." He gestured toward the fog-shrouded woods that bordered their village, a place where shadows danced and secrets lingered. "Every mystery invites us to explore not just the world around us, but the depths of our own hearts." John nodded, contemplating the Reverend's words. The silence between them deepened, filled with the soft rustle of the wind weaving through the trees and the distant calls of awakening birds. It was a moment suspended in time, a gentle reminder of the beauty found in uncertainty. As the mist began to lift, revealing the outlines of the familiar landscape, the footprints seemed to shimmer in the early light, inviting them to venture further into the unknown. The Reverend and John exchanged a knowing glance, a shared understanding that the mysteries of life, though elusive, were worth pursuing. Together they rose, ready to embrace whatever revelations awaited them in the quiet embrace of the woods. In that serene morning, the village of Devon breathed a collective sigh, unaware of the echoes that would ripple beyond the footprints, weaving a tapestry of connection, wonder, and possibility that would linger long after their presence had faded. The main road of Devon lay gently bustling beneath the gray skies, a soft drizzle beginning to paint the cobblestones with a glistening sheen. Richard Owen stood near the edge of the village, his gaze fixed on the freshly fallen snow that began to cover the remnants of the peculiar footprints. He pulled his coat tighter around him, feeling the cool dampness of the air as he observed the delicate patterns slowly disappearing beneath the new layer of white. "Nature has its own way of concealing secrets," he murmured, more to himself than to anyone else. The snow, pristine and untouched, seemed to erase the traces of the mystery that had captivated the village. Each flake landed softly, a gentle reminder that life continued its cycle, sometimes obscuring what had come before. Thomas Fox joined him, his boots crunching softly on the snow, a sound that seemed to blend into the peaceful ambiance of the morning. He too watched the snow fall, a wistful expression on his face. "It's a shame, isn't it?" he said, his voice low and contemplative. "In seeking answers, we often forget that mysteries are meant to fade. Perhaps this was never about uncovering the truth, but rather about the tales we weave around them." Richard nodded, understanding the weight of Thomas's words. "You're right. It was the stories that brought us together, that sparked our imaginations. They will linger long after the footprints are gone. He looked around at the village, the softly outlined cottages standing as sentinels to their shared experiences, their secrets nestled within the hearts of the villagers. As the rain mingled with the snow, creating a delicate melody, Thomas turned his gaze to the woods that bordered the village. I wonder, he mused, what future generations will make of our tales. Will they find the mystery even more enthralling, or will it fade into mere whispers, lost to time? Richard smiled gently, the corners of his eyes crinkling in thought. Perhaps it is up to us to ensure that they remember, to pass down the stories, to infuse them with the wonder we felt. For in every tale lies a piece of us, a connection to what was and what might yet be. The two men stood for a moment longer, enveloped in the calming atmosphere that surrounded them. The mist hung low, softening the edges of the world, inviting them to reflect on the ephemeral nature of life and memory. As the footprints faded beneath the snow, so too did the urgency to solve the mystery, giving way to a deeper appreciation for the shared experience that had united their village. With a final glance at the woods, they turned back toward the heart of Devon, ready to embrace the stories that would echo through the generations. Their hearts light with the knowledge that every ending also held the promise of a new beginning. As the sun began its slow descent, painting the sky in brilliant hues of gold, pink, and lavender, Reverend H.T. Ellicombe found himself atop a gentle hill overlooking the village of Devon. The warmth of the day lingered in the air, weaving through the cool evening breeze, creating a perfect balance that felt both calming and invigorating. He took a moment to appreciate the tranquil beauty of the landscape, the way the cottages nestled together like old friends, their chimneys softly puffing wisps of smoke into the twilight. Around him, a group of local children played, their laughter ringing like music through the air. They dashed about, their cheeks flushed with excitement, their imaginations seemingly boundless. Reverend Ellicombe smiled as he watched them, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that the mysteries they had pondered together, the footprints that had sparked so much curiosity, had ignited something deeper within these young souls. "Gather round, my little friends," he called softly, beckoning them closer. The children paused, their eyes bright with wonder as they approached, settling onto the grass around him. "I want to share something with you about the world we live in." The children scooted closer, their eager faces illuminated by the waning sunlight. "What is it, Reverend?" one of them asked, a spark of curiosity dancing in her voice. He took a deep breath, the sense of earth and grass tinged with the coolness of dusk swirling around him. "You see, each mystery we encounter, like the footprints we discovered, is a thread woven into the grand tapestry of life. There are things in this world that we may never fully understand, but that doesn't make them any less beautiful or important." The children listened intently, their expressions a mix of curiosity and contemplation. "But what if we find out what made the footprints?" Another child chimed in, his eyes wide with excitement. "Ah," the Reverend replied, a gentle smile forming on his lips. "If you discover the source, that is wonderful. Yet remember, it's the questions that enrich our lives. May you always find the beauty in questions not easily answered. For every answer leads to new questions, a never-ending journey of exploration." As twilight deepened, the sky transformed into a canvas of stars, each one twinkling like a whisper from the universe. The children gazed up, their imaginations ignited by the vastness above. In that moment, Reverend Ellicombe felt a quiet joy swell within him. Here, on this hill overlooking Devon, he witnessed the essence of wonder taking root in the hearts of the young ones. The footprints, once a mystery that stirred their curiosity, became a catalyst for dreams yet to be dreamed, stories yet to be told. As they sat together in the cool evening air, the Reverend shared tales of the natural world, of creatures that roamed under the moonlight, and of the whispers carried by the wind. The children listened, their minds alight with possibilities, ready to carry forth the spirit of inquiry into the vast tapestry of life that awaited them. The crackling warmth of the hearth filled the cozy inn, casting a golden glow over the gathered villagers of Devon. The scent of spiced cider wafted through the air, mingling with the sweet aroma of freshly baked bread, creating an atmosphere that wrapped around them like a soft embrace. Shadows danced playfully across the walls as the fire flickered, illuminating faces filled with wonder and anticipation. "Gather close, everyone," called Clara, her eyes sparkling with mischief as she settled onto a low stool near the hearth. "Tonight, let us weave together the stories of the footprints that graced our village, for they have sparked more than mere curiosity. They have ignited our imaginations." The villagers leaned in, their voices a gentle hum of agreement. Thomas Fox, with his hearty laugh, spoke first. "Ah, the footprints. I dare say they were left by a mischievous fairy, come to play tricks on us unsuspecting folk." Laughter rippled through the room, a warm sound that mingled with the crackling fire. Richard Owen, ever the skeptic, raised an eyebrow but couldn't suppress a smile. Or perhaps it was merely a wayward traveler, lost in the snow, seeking shelter and warmth. Let us not leap to the supernatural just yet. But Clara waved her hand dismissively, her voice playful. "Oh, Richard, where is the fun in that? A good story is like an old friend. Returning brings comfort. Embrace the mystery, I say." As the conversation flowed, the elders in the group leaned forward, their eyes twinkling with memories of their own. Old Mr. Hargrove spoke up, his voice rich with experience. "In my youth, we too had tales that danced around the flicker of our fires. There was a time when the woods whispered secrets to those willing to listen. I recall a night when I saw lights flickering among the trees, just as the stars began to twinkle above." The room hushed, captivated by the elder's words. Those lights were said to be the spirits of the lost, guiding the weary home. Perhaps our footprints are merely a sign that they have returned to remind us of the stories we ought to hold close. With each shared tale, the warmth of community wrapped around them, binding their hearts with threads of shared lore. The villagers began to embellish Mr. Hargrove's story, each adding their own twist, their laughter mingling with the soft crackle of the fire. As the night deepened, the room glowed with camaraderie and nostalgia. They were no longer simply discussing footprints. They were weaving a tapestry of tradition, ensuring that the mystery would live on through their stories. Just as the flames danced in the hearth, so too did their imaginations leap and swirl, illuminating the path from the past into the future. In that moment, as the fire flickered and shadows played against the walls, they knew that the footprints would not fade into the night. Instead, they would grow into a cherished part of Devon's lore, echoing through generations, reminding all who listened of the magic hidden within their everyday lives. The snow continued to fall softly over the village of Devon, each flake a whisper from the heavens, settling gently onto the ground and creating a fresh, unbroken blanket of white. It was a winter evening, the kind that held a stillness so profound it seemed as if the world had paused to listen. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a pale light that shimmered upon the pristine landscape, illuminating the silhouettes of the cottages that nestled together like old friends, their chimneys puffing out lazy wisps of smoke. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe stood on his porch, wrapped in the warmth of his heavy coat, a steaming mug cradled between his hands. The crisp air danced around him, carrying the faintest sound of the wind, a soft, melodic sigh as it flowed through the bare branches of the trees. He took a moment to breathe deeply, letting the coolness fill his lungs, feeling a profound connection to the quiet beauty surrounding him. As he gazed out over the fields, now silent and unmarked, he reflected on the mysteries that had woven themselves through the fabric of their lives. The footprints had led to questions, discussions, and laughter, a tapestry of shared stories that had drawn the villagers closer together. Yet, as the snow blanketed the ground once more, he felt the weight of stillness, a reminder that some mysteries remained unanswered, lingering patiently in the folds of time. The landscape, serene and untouched, held its own silent story. It spoke to him of cycles, of seasons turning, of life ebbing and flowing like the tide. Nature had a way of reminding them all that while mysteries might come and go, the essence of their existence remained constant. The trees would bloom again in the spring, flowers would burst forth in vibrant colors, and life would continue its dance, each moment a precious thread in the grand tapestry of being. With the last few rays of daylight fading, Reverend Ellicombe felt a sense of peace wash over him. The village, nestled in the embrace of winter, was alive with the warmth of community, the echoes of laughter from inside the homes mixing with the soft sound of falling snow. In the heart of Devon, the footprints had left their mark, not just on the snow, but within the hearts of those who had gathered to ponder them. He lifted his mug to his lips, savoring the warmth that spread through him, a contrast to the cool air that kissed his cheeks. "Tomorrow," he whispered to the quiet night, "we shall continue our journey of discovery." And in that moment, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars, he knew that whether the answers came swiftly or took time to unfold, they would embrace the mystery together, as a village bound by the threads of shared wonder. As the snow continued to fall, blanketing the earth, it felt as though the world itself was holding its breath, waiting for the dawn to reveal the next chapter in their story. The old stone bridge spanned the gentle stream that wound its way through the heart of Devon, a silent witness to the passage of time. As twilight settled over the village, the sky transformed into a canvas of deep indigo sprinkled with stars that twinkled like distant lanterns, casting their soft glow upon the world below. The bridge, with its moss-covered stones and worn edges, stood timeless, a bridge not just between land, but between stories, memories, and whispers of the past. The water flowed serenely beneath, reflecting the celestial display above, each ripple creating a shimmering tapestry. It felt as if the very essence of the village was woven into the fabric of this moment, as if the stream carried with it the laughter of children, the murmurs of old tales, and the soft sighs of lovers who had walked this path long ago. The air was crisp and fragrant, filled with the earthy scent of damp soil and the faintest trace of pine. As the last light of day slipped away, a gentle breeze stirred the leaves of nearby trees, their silhouettes dancing gracefully against the twilight sky. In this tranquil hour, there was a sense of peace, a stillness that wrapped around the village like a comforting embrace. The echoes of the footprints, their origins and meanings, lingered in the air, not as mere remnants of a mystery to be solved, but as reminders of the connections shared among the villagers. In the distance, the soft sound of laughter floated through the air, a chorus of voices that recalled the joy of community gatherings and the warmth of shared stories. Each tale, each whisper carried the weight of history, breathing life into the very stones of the bridge. It was here that the essence of Devon lay, not just in the mysteries that beckoned them, but in the enduring spirit of its people, who had found solace and strength in one another. As the stars began to twinkle more brightly, it felt as though they were watching over the village, bearing witness to the stories yet to unfold. The night hummed with possibilities, and though the footprints might fade beneath the snow, the stories they inspired would echo through the ages. The bridge, steadfast and unyielding, stood as a testament to the enduring nature of memory and connection. In this moment, beneath the vast expanse of the starlit sky, the villagers of Devon were bound not just by the mystery of the past, but by the timeless beauty of their shared humanity. The night whispered softly, inviting them to listen, to remember that every ending held the promise of new beginnings, a gentle reminder that the heart of a village beats on, forever intertwined with the mysteries of life and love. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows of the quaint classroom, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air like tiny stars. The walls were adorned with colorful drawings and charts, a testament to the creativity and wonder that filled the room. Children sat at their wooden desks, their faces bright with anticipation, eyes sparkling as their teacher prepared to share a story that had woven itself into the fabric of Devon. "Gather round, everyone," the teacher said, her voice warm and inviting. "Today we're going to talk about something very special, the mystery of the footprints in the snow." She paused, allowing a wave of excited murmurs to ripple through the classroom. The children leaned in, their enthusiasm palpable, eager to hear tales of the village's past. As she began to recount the story, the room fell into a hush, save for the soft rustle of paper and the occasional gasp of delight. "Long ago, when the snow blanketed our village, strange footprints appeared, leading into the woods. They were no ordinary prints. They seemed to dance across the snow, as if left by something magical." The children's eyes widened, imaginations ignited. "What if the snow tells its own secrets?" a little girl piped up, her voice filled with wonder. Laughter erupted, and the teacher smiled, encouraging their spirited curiosity. "Exactly. What if those footprints were left by a fairy, or perhaps a wandering spirit?" As she wove the tale, she noticed how the children hung on her every word, their faces a canvas of awe and intrigue. And as the villagers gathered to ponder the mystery, they discovered something profound. It wasn't just about the footprints, but the stories they inspired, the connections they forged amongst friends and family. A boy in the back raised his hand, his face alight with excitement. Did they ever find out who or what made them? The teacher chuckled softly, her eyes twinkling. Well, that's the beauty of mysteries, isn't it? Sometimes the answers aren't as important as the questions we ask and the imaginations we unleash. The footprints taught us to wonder, to explore, and to cherish the stories we share. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over the classroom, the children leaned back in their seats, the warmth of the tale enveloping them like a cozy blanket. The teacher could see the spark of curiosity igniting in their hearts, a legacy of wonder that would carry forth into their lives. You see, she continued, her voice softening, every mystery holds the promise of discovery, and just like the villagers of Devon, you too will create your own stories, filled with adventure, curiosity, and magic. With that, the sound of their laughter and chatter filled the room, a gentle symphony that echoed the spirit of inquiry. In that moment, beneath a bright sunbeam, the classroom became a sanctuary of dreams, where the legacy of curiosity blossomed in the hearts of the next generation, ready to explore the wonders of their own unfolding stories. The library was a haven of quietude, its wooden shelves brimming with the weight of stories waiting to be discovered. The soft glow of the lamps cast a warm light over the pages of ancient tomes, illuminating titles that whispered of adventures, forgotten histories, and lingering mysteries. Dust motes floated lazily in the air, catching the light and swirling gently like tiny stars in a vast universe of knowledge. Margaret, the librarian, moved with a reverent grace, her fingers brushing against the spines of the books as if greeting old friends. She paused to dust off a well-thumbed volume, its leather cover worn and cracked, yet sturdy, a testament to the countless hands that had turned its pages. Every book here holds a piece of our past, she murmured softly to herself, her voice barely above a whisper. Each one contributes to the fabric of our shared story. In a cozy nook, a solitary reader found solace among the shelves, nestled into a plush armchair that seemed to welcome him like an old embrace. He was engrossed in a tale from the village's folklore, the words weaving vivid images in his mind. The flickering light from the lamp cast playful shadows on the walls, creating an atmosphere of intimacy that invited contemplation. As he turned the pages, the reader felt a connection to the mysteries that had once stirred the hearts of those who walked the same streets, who had stood in the same fields beneath the same stars. The stories unfolded like petals of a flower, revealing layers of truth and imagination that intertwined with his own life. Our place in history is written alongside whispers of the past, he thought, feeling the weight of those words resonate deep within him. Margaret glanced over, noticing the boy's rapt attention. She smiled, a warmth spreading through her as she observed the spark of curiosity igniting in his eyes. Stories have a way of connecting us, she said gently, her voice carrying across the room. They remind us that we are never truly alone in our quests for understanding. The reader looked up, his eyes bright with wonder. Do you think the footprints will ever be explained? He asked, his voice tinged with the innocence of youth. Margaret nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps, dear one. But even if the mystery remains, the conversations and connections it fosters are just as important. They keep our village alive in the hearts of those who share its tales. As the evening deepened, the library settled into a peaceful rhythm, the sound of pages turning mingling with the soft rustle of fabric as readers found their own corners of understanding. Outside, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the world in a serene hush, while inside, the warmth of shared stories wrapped around them like a comforting embrace. Together, in that sacred space, the echoes of history intertwined with the present, creating a timeless sanctuary where the mysteries of life could be explored and cherished, inviting all who entered to listen closely to the whispers of the past. The twilight sky unfurled like a vast canvas, stretching endlessly above the village of Devon. Hues of deep indigo and soft lavender blended seamlessly, while the first stars began to twinkle into existence, tiny pinpricks of light shining against the velvet expanse. The air was cool and crisp, wrapping around the village like a gentle embrace, inviting contemplation and wonder. As the last remnants of daylight faded, the villagers found themselves drawn outdoors, their gazes lifted toward the heavens. In the quiet of the evening, something magical unfolded. The celestial patterns danced above them, a symphony of light connecting the earth to the cosmos. They stood together, side by side, each heart beating in rhythm with the mysteries of the universe, pondering the stories that had shaped their lives and the lives of those who had come before. In that hushed moment, the whispers of old legends floated gently on the breeze, intertwining with the laughter of children. Each flicker of a star seemed to carry a message, a reminder that they were part of something grander, a tapestry woven through time. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe, standing among them, felt a sense of unity enveloping the gathering, a tranquil understanding that they were all connected by the threads of existence. What stories do these stars hold? He mused aloud, his voice a soothing balm in the stillness of the night. The villagers turned their eyes skyward, imagining the tales hidden within the shimmering constellations. Each spark of light became a question, a mystery waiting to be explored. Thomas Fox, standing close by, felt a thrill run through him, as if the very air was charged with the promise of discovery. "Every star is a memory," he replied, his voice nearly a whisper, reverent in its contemplation. "A part of our history, a reminder of those who walked before us." The words hung in the air, resonating with everyone present, weaving an invisible bond among them. As the evening deepened, the silhouettes of the trees stood tall against the backdrop of the sky, their branches swaying gently in the night breeze, as if joining in the conversation of stars. The footprints, once a puzzling mystery, now felt like a thread in the larger narrative of life, a reflection of the questions that lingered in their hearts, urging them to seek understanding in the shadows and light. In that sacred space with the cosmos as their witness, the villagers of Devon embraced the infinite possibilities that lay before them. The mystery of the footprints faded into the background, replaced by a profound sense of interconnectedness with the universe, a reminder that every ending held the promise of new beginnings. And as they stood together beneath the vast, starlit sky, they understood that they were not just spectators of the night, but active participants in an eternal dance of wonder and discovery. The path through the wooded glen lay bathed in the soft glow of the moonlight, a silvery ribbon winding its way through the trees. Each step forward felt like stepping into a dream, a journey that promised discovery and adventure. The air was crisp and cool, filled with the earthy scent of damp leaves and the faint sound of a distant brook, its gentle murmur weaving an enchanting melody that echoed through the stillness. As the moon cast its light upon the ground, it illuminated not just the path, but the possibilities that lay ahead. Shadows danced playfully among the trees, inviting the wanderers to explore the depths of both the forest and their imaginations. Each footfall was a reminder that life was a collection of stories, a tapestry woven from moments shared and mysteries yet to unfold. The glen felt alive, as if it were a storyteller in its own right, whispering secrets to those who paused long enough to listen. Here, in this serene embrace of nature, the worries of the world faded away, replaced by the sweet anticipation of what lay beyond the next bend. It was a gentle nudge to the heart, urging all who walked this path to remain open to the ever-changing narrative of life. Imagined wanderers drifted along the trail, each one carrying their own dreams, hopes, and questions. Their eyes sparkled with the kind of curiosity that only comes from a heart unburdened by the weight of certainty. They were not merely seeking answers, but embracing the journey itself, relishing the freedom that came with exploration. In the soft rustle of the leaves and the whisper of the wind, there was a promise, a reminder that every ending is but a new beginning. The footprints of the past, once vivid and intriguing, had faded into the snow, yet the stories they inspired continued to flourish, echoing in the hearts of those who cherished them. As the path wound deeper into the woods, it became clear that this was not just a physical journey, but a metaphorical one. Each step taken was a choice made, an invitation to venture beyond the familiar and embrace the unknown. The trees stood tall and steadfast, guardians of secrets, urging the wanderers to venture forth with courage and wonder. And so, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars, the glen beckoned them onward, whispering of adventures yet to be had and stories waiting to be written. In that tranquil moment, the villagers of Devon understood that mysteries would continue to unfold, not just in their lives, but in the world beyond, where dreams intermingled with reality and every path led to new horizons. The journey was eternal, and it was theirs to embrace, step by gentle step.